morning, friends. So we have this refrigerator. I had it for over maybe 12, 13 years. And this morning we realized that the water dispenser was not working at all. We did have ice, but no water dispenser. So my husband here trying to fix it instead of buying a new one because overall it's still in good condition.
So what I do, the first thing I want to check is the filter. And as you can see, this filter is kind of old. It was due to be changed 622. And these filters don't take long to get plugged, unfortunately, because the water that we get coming to our house has a lot of debris in it. It's got a lot of iron, it's got a lot of calcium deposits and things of that nature. So it really doesn't take too long for these filters to get plugged. So the first thing that I did was I unplugged the refrigerator. Okay. Then I've traced my line. This is the water where it comes from the city to your house. It goes through the filter, and then it goes to this little solenoid valve down here.
Okay, so this is the water from the city.
Yes.
Comes through
the filter,
and then
comes
goes
back
into the
out
refrigerator.
and goes to the refrigerator. And usually there's an arrow on here that shows which way it can go, but you can't see it. It's on the back side. But you can always tell. It comes out of your wall. That's where it comes from the city.
Yes.
It goes through this tube and goes down here. So what I want to do is I want to shut the water off here. This little valve. Righty-tighty. Shut the water off. Okay, I want to get a little bucket or a pot or something so we can drain the water. So we shut the water off. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to loosen this nut on our inlet side. And we just want to see if we have water pressure going in here. So we just loosen that a little bit. You can see we have a little bit of water coming out there, but shouldn't be anything to worry about because we closed the valve. But I like to, make sure, because if that valve has failed, you don't want to take it off all the way. If you start to remove this nut and water starts spraying off, you want to go ahead and stop and at least, go maybe shut the water off to your house while you do this. So we're going to take that hose and we're going to turn this back on and see what kind of water flow that we have coming out of here. And really, that's not too good, believe it or not. This should be spraying like crazy. I can almost put my finger on there and stop it. So that's telling me that this water filter is beyond its service life. So what that can cause is low water flow going into your refrigerant section, and which will allow freezing. So I suspect that it's not a problem with the solenoid. I suspect it's a problem with the water freezing going to the water dispenser.
And that's because that filter is not working properly.
Right. And so you're not getting the flow of water going through there and the pressure. Because when you have lower water pressure, it freezes faster than when you have higher pressure. So we put that back on there. Now there's one other thing that I want to check. I'm not going to turn the water on yet, but I'm going to plug the refrigerator in. You can hear the compressor go on. I'm going to push it back. And what I want to do is push down on this water flapper. And usually you can hear the solenoid click. So what I do is I put my ear here and you can hear the solenoid clicking. Hear it? So that's telling me that the solenoid is operating. So I suspect that we have a frozen line. So what I've done is I've removed all the stuff out of the freezer. I'm going to take this hair dryer. I'm going to open this up, but first I'm going to unplug this again because we don't want the freezer running because it's going to defeat the purpose of thawing it out. We're going to open this door. We've removed all the frozen items and we're going to allow this thing to warm up a little bit. Now I like to do this. It's up to you. You don't really have to do it. I'll take my hair dryer or something like that and I'll try to warm the area around where the water comes in. So let me turn it on.
Which area is that where the
Up
water
here.
comes in?
This is your ice dispenser. Okay. Your water usually comes in through the door somewhere because you can see your dispensers here. So there's a little piece of tube that goes through this door. Highly unlikely it's frozen there.
Okay.
Because this is an insulated door. It's more than likely in this area.
In that area in the back.
In this area
that's
and
where
also
you
in
want
the
to
back.
put the dryer.
Yes, and again, this is an option. You don't need a hair dryer. you could just remove all your items out of there and let your refrigerator sit for maybe 30 minutes to an hour.
Unplugged.
Yes, unplugged. Because if you plug it in, it's going to be cooling. So I take my hair dryer, we'll plug it in. Sorry, our counter's so cluttered because we had to remove everything from the okay, we're gonna put it on high. And I usually just, hold it on there. Just try to warm it up, get the air. All we're trying to do is warm the air up in there and just speed up the process. But again, this is an option you don't even really have to do. Now that we've thawed it up, we're going to go ahead and close the door. We're going to pull it out. We're going to plug in our refrigerator because the water dispenser will not work with the refrigerator unplugged. We're going to make sure this is dry. You don't want to get zapped. And we're going to plug that in. You can hear the compressor come on. We're going to turn our water back on. We've connected all our lines and tightened them. Always look at this valve when you open it because these are very old sometimes and they're always in the open position. And sometimes you can develop a leak here. So, you want to be able to catch that now rather than have the water run down inside your wall and cause damage. This one's okay. There's just a little bit of moisture there, but it's, it's okay.
And the next video, we're gonna replace the plate.
Yeah, we'll replace the plate. That's one of those plates you never see till you pull out your refrigerator.
Exactly.
So, we're gonna push this back into position. We're gonna take a glass and see if that's what the problem was. As you can see, we have water. So we fixed the problem. You can see the water pressure is not really good there. So we definitely need to change this filter. If you don't want it to freeze up again, I would do it soon because if you sit there and you go, you're going to end up doing this whole procedure again.
Right.
As you can see, we have water coming out there. To me, that's not sufficient flow. So we need to go ahead and buy a new filter.
So the filter is needed in order to have a good water pressure.
Yes, and it'll prevent the likelihood of the line freezing.
Yes.
Because the water will be under greater pressure and you'll have better flow. And as you can see, there's a number on your filter right here, model number FQK1K. You can just Google that, water filter, blah, blah, blah. And it'll, usually show you can get it at Home Depot or Amazon or somebody like that. I always like to keep one on hand, one spare. That way you don't have to run it out to the store. You just have one and you screw it on there. But that's probably the main reason that the water line froze.
And I know because we usually had, in the past we had called someone to take a look at our refrigerator. The service call is around $100.
Yes.
And then, of course, if they have to do any work on it, it's going to be the parts and the labor.
Right. And so the
well.
filter itself is probably around $30. And of course, there's usually a markup as a contractor. You mark up your material. So anyway, you can save a little money by fixing things yourself.
Well, thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something and you can fix things on your own and save a little bit of money.
Subscribe.
Please subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this video.
And follow us.
Thank you.